Grammatical, good for the kids. Grammatical explanation incoming. So let's talk about aspect. What is aspect? Aspect. What is the aspect in the English language? Aspect is a form of a verb that shows whether the action happens once or repeatedly. Only one time or many times. That is aspect. Aspect also shows whether an action is finished or in progress. Either finished or in progress. What are the three basic aspects of the English language? I already showed you on the grid that I drew 5 minutes ago. The three aspects of the English language are simple, continuous, and perfect. That's it. Simple, continuous, and perfect. Those are the three aspects of the English language. We will focus on the two most difficult ones, which is continuous and perfect. Okay? Continuous and perfect. Let's talk about the continuous aspect first. Continuous aspect, the continuous aspect of the English language. When can we use the continuous aspect? The first use is to describe an action in progress or around a point in time. Okay, to describe an action in progress. This is the easiest use of it. So what are you reading at the moment? I'm reading a book at the moment. So yeah, she's reading, she's reading at the moment. So what am I doing here? She's reading at the moment. This is the continuous aspect. I'm showing an action in progress. Also, I can use the future continuous and say something like, he'll be cooking all day tomorrow, or he'll be cooking tomorrow. Yeah? He'll be cooking all day tomorrow. This is the future continuous. But again, what am I doing here? I'm expressing an action around a point in time. In progress, around a point in time. What is the point in time? Tomorrow, the future. But it will be in progress around this time. Yeah? So this is one of the examples of the continuous aspect. The easiest one. What else? In what other ways I can use the continuous aspect to describe a temporary state with a limited duration? Temporary state. Limited duration. A temporary state with a limited duration. So for example, I can say, have a look at these two examples. She's working for that company. She's working for that company. And compare this sentence to this other sentence. She works as a civil servant. Here, the aspect is simple. Here, the aspect is continuous. What is the difference? That this sentence, which is using the continuous aspect, is representing something which is not permanent, but temporary. So if I say she's working for that company, I'm implying that it is kind of temporary, yeah? That it's not forever. But if I say she works for that company, or she works as a civil servant, I am suggesting, with the use of this aspect, that this is not temporary, this is permanent. So this is another use of the continuous aspect. May I? Yeah, she's working, she works. Yeah? She's working, temporary. She works, permanent. Another use of the continuous aspect is to describe a repeated activity. To describe a repeated activity. For example, I can say, I played tennis recently, or I've been playing a lot of tennis recently. So let me use this one. I've been playing a lot of chess recently. Okay, Here, I've been playing. This is a continuous form. This is the continuous aspect. However, if I say, I've played tennis, I've played tennis recently. Or if I say, I play a lot of tennis, or I play a lot of chess. What is the difference between these three sentences? Here, this one is continuous. This one is perfect. And this one is simple. What is the difference? Here, if I say I've been playing a lot of tennis recently, I am emphasizing that it's a repeated activity. I've done it many times during the last few weeks, the last few months, recently. If I say I've played tennis recently, if I use the perfect tense, I'm not emphasizing the fact that it's a repeated activity. Maybe only once, maybe only once. I've played tennis recently. One time. Maybe only one time. I'm not emphasizing that it's repeated. And if I say I play a lot of chess, this is more like a habit, This is more like a habit, like a regular activity. So compare, Maybe only once, a habit, something regular, but if I use the continuous aspect, I am emphasizing that this is something I do repeatedly, many times. That's another use of the continuous aspect. Repeated activity. May I? Any other use of the continuous aspect of the English language? Well, I can describe what we see as new trends and developments. New trends and developments, but this is subjective though. It depends on the point of view of the speaker. The speaker might be right or might be wrong, but depending on how the speaker feels, you may use it or not. So for instance, if I say more and more people are paying for streaming services. More and more people are paying for streaming services. Streaming services such as Netflix, If I consider that this is a trend or a development, something that is going on, I would use a continuous aspect. However, if the speaker thinks that this is an established fact, he would say a lot of people pay, A lot of people pay for streaming services. So it depends on your point of view. If you think it's a trend, this is an arc, okay? If you think it's a trend still going on, you would use a continuous tense. If you think it's an established fact, this is a totally established fact, it's not a trend anymore, then you would just use a simple aspect. That is the difference, and one more use of the continuous aspect, People are paying, it's a trend, it's developing. But if it's not a trend anymore, it's a fact, then go for the simple aspect. May I? It's being recorded anyway. Any other use of a continuous aspect? Oh, yes, there is. Another use of it is with some stated verbs. Continuous aspect with some stated verbs. What are stated verbs? Stated verbs are verbs that do not imply physical actions but mental states. With some stated verbs. And what is the purpose of that? A dramatic effect. For a dramatic effect, or in an informal, very informal context. So, for example, verbs such as love. Love is a stative, Be is a stative verb. They do not imply physical actions, but feelings. some people, purists, yeah, purists would say that they can never take the ing form. Yeah? Prescriptive purists would say, no, 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 no. These are stative verbs, they can never take ing forms. However, in real life, if you listen to people in the street, more and more people are using, or use, if it's an established fact, these verbs, these stative verbs in an ing in a continuous way. So, for instance, I don't know, take McDonald's, for instance. I'm loving it. This is using a stative verb in an ing form. Shut up, you're being stupid. I heard it so many times, you know, when I was in the UK. I mean, not because they said it to me, because they said it to other people, you know. You're being stupid. Shut up, you're being stupid. Again, these are real life examples of love and be using the stative verb. And what is the effect? Can you say I love it? Of course you can. This is the classic correct way of saying it. Can you say you are stupid at the moment? Yes, you can. But if you use the ing and the ing, I wouldn't say it's incorrect. It's just informal, and it gives the sentence more drama and more dynamism. I would say it's more dynamic, yeah, to use the ing forms. However, be careful, because there are other stative verbs. There are some, with this ones it's okay, yeah? With this ones it's okay, but there are other stative verbs that would never accept ing forms. No, believe, yeah? No, believe, disagree. No, believe, disagree, and so on. There are some other stative verbs that can never accept ing, not even in an informal context. You can never say, I'm knowing this. No. I'm believing. No. I believe it. I'm disagreeing with you. That can never be correct. So these ones can never take a continuous aspect. These ones are stative verbs that need to be used in the simple way, in the simple aspect. So I'm loving it, you're being stupid, that's all right, but not with these ones, for instance. May I? I'll take that as a yes. Okay, another use of the continuous aspect is combining it with, yeah, you can combine the continuous aspect with forever, always, forever, always, constantly, yeah? Constantly. And when you combine it with these words, you are indicated an emotion, yeah? An emotion. Typically a complaint, yeah? Typically you complain. So for example, she's I don't know, shouting at me, yeah? You can add this ones. She's forever shouting at me. She's always shouting at me. She's constantly shouting at me. Yeah? You can combine the continuous aspect with these words in order to add more emotion, yeah, to your sentence. Typically when you complain about something. Not necessarily, but typically when you complain about something. Okay, this is the end of the continuous aspect. Let's move on to the perfect aspect now. May I? The perfect aspect. Perfect. The perfect aspect. Okay, so one of the uses of the perfect aspect is to describe an event or action when the time is unknown or important. Let's say time not important or unknown. So imagine that I say, I've passed the exam, yeah, or I've passed my A levels. I've passed my A levels. I passed my A levels. And I compare it with this other sentence. I passed my A levels when I was 18. Okay, so what is the difference between this sentence, I've passed my A-levels, and this sentence, I passed? Especially in British English. In American English, they tend to use the past simple all the time for both. But in British English, they do make this distinction. When you use the perfect, now we're in the perfect aspect, yeah? I've passed my A-levels. What is the important thing? The important thing is not when. The important thing is that you have passed. So the time, yeah? When did you pass? Doesn't matter. I have passed, okay? I have passed my A-levels. It doesn't matter when. However, in British English, when you use the past simple, I passed my A-levels, it typically requires a time, a specific time. So I passed my A-levels when I was 18. So past simple requires a time, typically, yeah, typically. Present perfect, a perfect aspect, does not necessarily need a time reference. This is not important. The important thing is that I passed. That is one use of the perfect aspect. Shall we continue? Okay, another use of the perfect aspect is to place one event or action before another. Okay. One event before another. One event before another. So for instance, I can say, when he got to school, the lecture had already started. 5 more minutes, okay? I'm about to... 5 more. When he got to school, the lecture had already started. This is sentence number 1. Now, sentence number 2, the other example. When he got to school, the lesson started. What is the difference? What is the difference between these two sentences? Have a look at this. When he got to school, got, the same. The lecture had started, the lecture started. What is the difference? In the first example is one event before another event. What happened first here? First, the lesson started, and then he got to school. So by using the perfect tense here, in this case the past perfect, yeah, had started, I'm placing this action more into the past, farther away into the past than this one, which is already in the past, yeah? However, if I use past simple and past simple, what am I implying here? Consecutiveness, one action after the other, yeah? If I use past simple and past simple, that is consecutiveness, yeah? One action and then the other one, in order, one after the other. So if I want to highlight that one event happened before the other, I need the use of the perfect aspect. In this case, past perfect. So far so good? Okay. What other use of the perfect aspect can we use? Okay, we can stress that one action is complete. Yeah? Stress that the action is complete. Stress that the action is complete. So for instance, I can say, have you written to her? Have you texted her? Have you texted her? No, but I've called her. No, but I've called her. Okay, here, again, I'm using the perfect aspect. Have you texted her? No, I've called her. Again, is the time important? Typically, when we use the perfect tenses, we do not specify exactly when, but we are emphasizing the emphasis here by saying, I've called her. Have you texted her? No, I've called her. I'm emphasizing, by using the perfect tense, that it's a completed action. I have called her. I have done it. It's completed. Okay? I'm not telling you exactly when, because it's a perfect tense, but I am emphasizing the fact that it's done. It's been done. It's been completed. This is like a review of all the previous years. Okay, now other use, the last use of the perfect aspect is to describe an action continuing up to another point in time. An action continuing up to another point in time. For instance, his work as a teacher, Jesus has worked as a teacher, I don't know, for 15 years, up to now. Yeah, up to now. So, Jesus has worked. Again, Jesus has worked. This is present perfect. What am I doing here with has worked? Continuing up to another point in time. In this case, the point in time is the present. Okay? So I have worked as a teacher up to now, and I'm still doing it right now. It's continuing up to this moment. That is another use of the perfect aspect. And this is the end of the perfect aspect. Just one more section to explain. May I? Now the combination. The combination of perfect and continuous aspects. Perfect and continuous aspects. Let's combine the aspects together. So one of the possible combinations is to focus on a process or activity, not the result. Okay? To focus on the process, not the result. To focus on the process, not the result. So, for instance, I can say, I've been doing my homework all day. I've been doing my homework all day. Compare this sentence with this one. I've done my homework. Here, sentence 1, sentence 2. In sentence 2, I've done my homework. This is just a perfect tense. What am I emphasizing here? I'm emphasizing that it's completed. I'm not telling you exactly when, but the important thing is that I've finished. Here, I've been doing my homework all day. The important thing is not that I have finished my homework. The important thing is to focus on the process all day. Typically, when you say things like, all day I've been doing my homework, then you use the combination of perfect and continuous. Yeah, perfect and continuous at the same time, because you are emphasizing the process, that you've been all day doing it, but have you finished or not? It doesn't matter. I've been all day doing it. Perfect, continuous. To emphasize the process. A long time doing it. May I? Very close to the end, very close to the end. Okay, another use of the combination of both aspects is to stress the duration of an action. Again, very similar, yeah? To stress the duration. Very similar to the previous example. You can say, it's been snowing all day. It's been snowing all day. Or imagine that I say, when my date arrived, comma, I had been waiting for 30 minutes already. So very similar to the previous example. What am I doing here? I'm combining. It's been, this is perfect. Snowing, this is continuous. Again, had been, this is perfect. Waiting, this is continuous. So I'm combining perfect and continuous, perfect and continuous. To what? To stress the duration. Here, the indicator of the duration. All day. Here, the indicator of the duration. For 30 minutes, this is so important. That it's been snowing all day. I want to stress that it was all day. Therefore, combination. Perfect continuous. For 30 minutes, I had been waiting. Perfect continuous. Stress that it was a long time. May I? Another possibility of combining perfect and continuous aspects is to describe an action continuing up to another point in time. And this is the very last one, I promise. An action continuing up to another point in time. An action continuing up to another point in time. Imagine that I say, I've been living here since 2000. I've been living here since 2000. What am I doing here? I've been, this is perfect tense. Living, this is continuous. Continuous tense. So again, combining perfect and continuous to what? To represent an action continuing up to another point in time. So, up to now, yeah? Up to now. Up to now. Since 2000 until now. Is it possible to say, I've lived here since 2000? Is it also possible to use just the perfect tense? Does it sound good to you? It does. So you can choose both possibilities. Perfect and continuous is correct, yeah, to represent an action continuing up to another point in time. Perfect and continuous. I've been living here since 2000. I've lived here since 2000. This is also correct. What is the difference? The difference is very, very small. They mean basically the same. Perhaps here there is a suggestion of impermanence. Perhaps this one sounds a little bit less permanent than this one, but it's basically the same thing. Okay? Perhaps this one slightly less permanent than this one, but both of them are totally acceptable. This is the end of the grammatical explanation. Sorry it took so long. Any questions?